All right, welcome to another episode of Befuddled and Confused. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment below. Yeah, this one will be interesting. We've been talking a little bit about it.
Yeah.
It's been Lizzie's pick. So why don't you kick us off, Liz? What are we going to be talking about this week?
We're going to be talking about pro-choice and pro-life.
All right, and so this will be interesting because I'm a male, obviously, and you're a female, obviously, unless you believe in identifying as whatever you want to identify as. But yes, I do have my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my opinion because, like, I also takes two to tango. So, why don't you kick us off? Like, how do we want to start this, Liz?
How do we want to start this? Well, I am pro-choice.
Right.
I believe in a woman's right to choose, whether she wants to abort a baby or abort a fetus or,
Changing the name doesn't change what it is. So I want to get down to I and you could disagree with me and you could say no. I'd like to set some ground rules. And the first one is let's first get rid of the far extreme cases, right? And focus on the majority. So the majority of the abortions, pretty much 99% of abortions have nothing to do with incest or rape. So excluding rape and incest, the other 99%, let's focus on the other 99% of like why people have abortion, why you think it's okay, and why I think it's wrong. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So very basic opinion. So if we get rid of rape, we get rid of incest. Two people, consenting adults, understand what they're doing when they lay down and have sex. Two people make a choice. Two people know the consequences. But you think that one person should have the right to choose the future of 3 lives, while the other person has no choice in his own future.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Well, like you said, it could be 2 consenting adults, but how do you know those 2 consenting adults? What if that woman is in an abusive relationship and she doesn't want to bring a child to that? She could be protecting herself, and no amount of protection is 100% proof.
Okay, let's go the other way. How many women purposely get pregnant to trap a man, and the man has no choice to force a woman to have an abortion?
I don't know. I know there's things like that happen.
Right, so that's taking the opposite view. So shouldn't the man have a right to tell a woman you have to have the baby aborted?
Yeah, I'm sure he does, but I mean,
there's no law that protects a man.
No.
So the abortion only goes for the women.
Well,
Where's the man's right?
I don't know. I'm just talking about like women I have the right to choose what I do with my body.
So when does it become, according to you or your philosophy or your perspective, when does it become murder?
Well, I wouldn't call it murder, but I don't think after the first trimester anybody should have an abortion.
Why?
Why? Because I believe it's already formed. There's a heartbeat. It's actually, you can see it. It's baby.
So what about one day before the first trimester is over? Can you have an abortion?
That's close. I don't know.
What about one day after the first trimester?
No, I think once you get there, it's like,
Science isn't specific, so how do you know when the first trimester is over? You've had kids. Like, is it a guarantee that you're in your second trimester?
Well, I know science isn't guaranteed, but I mean, if you're going to the doctors, when you go and have an ultrasound, they tell you, okay, you're in your first trimester. This is, they take pictures, you can see.
According to what? Like, how do they know that you're out of your first trimester?
I don't know if it's a size, what, the development, something in the ultrasound.
Right, and some people develop slowly. So someone could actually be well into their second trimester, but according to what they see on the ultrasound, they could still be in the first trimester.
Yeah.
And so, like they're getting an abortion, assuming they're in their first trimester when they're really into their second trimester. So is that murder?
I don't think it's murder though.
Why not?
Because it's not. I think if you go in though and you're 7 months pregnant, I mean, then that's different, you know.
Why is that different?
Because it's actually like, you know, a good size. It's actually a baby. It's formed already.
When does it become a baby?
Actually, not until it's born.
Why?
I don't know. I read about it. It's just it's not. It's only considered a fetus. It's not considered a baby until, you know.
So, then why do you have a baby shower before it's born?
Because they take gifts to the mom. For
But
the
why?
baby.
Why?
And they don't have a
There you
baby
go.
shower. They don't have a baby shower when it's in the first trimester or second. It's usually when the person's like 7, 8, 9 months pregnant.
Right? No, I get that, but we're going into you saying it's not a baby.
Yeah, but that's what it's
Because
called. It's called a baby shower.
But it's not a baby, so you're having a shower for something that doesn't exist.
Well, I'm not the one that's, you know, calling it a baby shower. That's just what it's called.
So it's not it's not a real life until it comes out.
I think some people see it that way.
Okay, so how come if it's just something inside of you growing, how come people don't mourn and cry and have their life disrupted when they get their appendix removed? But they do when they have a stillbirth.
Well, I think appendix isn't, you know, something that's alive.
It is.
Something-
It's a live
It's-
organ in you,
It's an organ in you, but that's what it is, an organ.
but that's what you're saying is growing inside of you. It's just cells.
I'm not saying that.
You're saying it's a fetus,
Yeah, that's what
It's not a baby.
That's what it's called.
but it's not a baby.
It's a fetus.
It's not a baby.
Okay.
So why do you mourn if it dies inside of you? Who cares? It's nothing.
I
Not
think.
alive.
I think. Well, see, you're not a woman, so you don't know. You're carrying this baby for 9 months, and it's gonna be stillborn. It's gonna when it's born actually comes out. I mean, you're still giving birth, but you're giving birth to a dead baby.
Yeah, but I carried my appendix for 19 years before it was taken out of me. Not 9 months. I didn't mourn.
Yeah, but when your appendix got taken out, I mean, if it was taken out, you know, when it wasn't bothering you, I mean, are you gonna mourn then too? No,
No,
because you don't need it.
but you don't need
It's
a couple
not-
cells growing inside of you if it's not really a baby. That's why you gotta mourn.
People mourn, some don't. You know.
So you never told me. Let's go back to my first argument.
Mhm.
How come it's okay for a woman to decide a man's future, but a man can't decide a woman's future?
But she's not deciding a man's future. She's deciding her own future.
So the man isn't forced to pay child support?
Not always. There's women out there that will say they don't know who the baby's father is, so that, you know.
So let's not go to the extreme case. Let's stick to the majority.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's right? You think it's okay for a woman to decide a man's future with alimony or child support?
Well, I don't see it like that.
What do you mean?
I don't see it like she's deciding his future.
Well, she had the abortion. You wouldn't have to pay the child support, right?
Yeah.
But she chose to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's where like this whole thing gets screwy with you, right? Like I understand, like women say, "My body, my choice." Yes, it was your body prior to getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Once you got pregnant, it is your body and a baby's body
Mm-hmm.
that you are killing.
It's not killing.
So, let me ask you. You said first trimester. When does a heartbeat start?
I don't know, honestly.
So, once somebody has a heartbeat, do you think they feel?
No, I don't think they feel. Their nervous system's not developed. So how are they gonna feel? Like, that's why there's the first, second, third trimester. It's forming, and they don't have a nervous system yet. You know, first it's just like a little seed, and little by little it starts to grow.
No, that's my seed going into your embryo.
No.
So you don't think the heartbeat proves life? When does life begin?
I believe technically life begins when the baby's born, but you'll get some people to say that life begins at conception.
Okay. So right now we're on Mars, right? Like we have that little rover on Mars. It finds a single cell organism on Mars. Do we say that there's life on Mars?
Yeah, we do.
But yet you're saying that the baby isn't life until it's born.
We're talking about two different things.
Cells are cells.
Yeah.
How is it two different things?
Well, we're talking about Mars, a planet. It's not a person.
That single cell could become a person, right?
I don't think so.
You don't believe in evolution?
Yeah, but I don't think that single cell they find on Mars is going to become a human being.
In like 3 trillion years?
Yeah, well, I won't be around in 3 trillion years to see that.
But like once again, like if a single cell organism on Mars, and this is the arguments that I've heard, right? Like, so to be clear, my parents don't know this, so they're just watching this. Like, I apologize. The reason I'm so passionate about this is my girlfriend in college got pregnant and had an abortion without me knowing. And I understand it was her choice, but I had no choice, which was devastating to me. I understood the consequences of laying down and having sex. I think the majority of people, like, I hesitate on that, but the majority of people, like, they understand it, they just don't calculate it, right? Like, they have sex, just have fun. They don't calculate, like the consequences of having sex. But she chose to kill my child.
So are you more mad that she chose the abortion or that she didn't tell you and did it? Because basically she didn't tell you and let you know, hey, I'm pregnant.
I'm upset that she had a period. Like I've always wanted to have kids. So I guess I'm upset that she had it. And what made it worse was that she did behind my back.
Yeah.
So like it's a double whammy for me.
Yeah.
You know? And that's where my confusion comes, because like everyone has these arguments of like, oh, it's not a baby, it's just a clump of cells, it's just this, and like everyone wants to differentiate like when it's wrong to have an abortion. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but you're saying after the first trimester you shouldn't have an abortion. That's arbitrary, because there's other people that are pro-choice that think you can have an abortion up to the third trimester.
I know there is, and I think it's wrong.
But why is your way right and their way wrong?
Because I think after the first trimester, this is me.
Right.
After the first trimester, I mean, you've had already 3 months. You've had to have some kind of knowledge, whatever, feeling sick, whatever. I mean, yeah, there's people out there that, they'll have their period 9 months, but I mean, your body's changing, so you had to have some knowledge and, and what, or even there's people out there that are pregnant and like, oh, okay, and they decide to do it last minute, and that's just, I think that's wrong.
But why?
Why? Because to me, it's already, like I told you, it's already formed. It's already like,
But it's not a baby yet because it hasn't breathed life, according to you.
No, that's according to science or doctors or whatever.
So when does it become a baby?
I think like when you're in your second trimester, it's already a baby. That's what I believe.
If we go back, you said it's not a baby until it's out.
Well, that's how it's, like I said. No, but that's how people define it. It's not actually a baby until it's born. But I mean, you're in the 7th, 8th month, it's a baby. I get that.
Right, because what?
It's moving around, it's kicking you. I mean, it's already there.
Yeah, a baby can survive out of the womb at 24 months. Chances aren't likely because the lungs aren't developed, all that other stuff.
24 weeks, you mean?
24 weeks, that's right. 24 months, that's what, like, damn. That's like 2.5 Irish twins. So why, again, is one trimester you're lying? Because, like, it's not fully developed yet. At 4, wait, that would be.
No, it's not fully developed, but it's
that
already.
Would be what, 12 weeks? So at 12 weeks, you're
Mhm.
saying that a baby should no longer, a woman should no longer get an abortion.
Yeah.
Why at 12 weeks?
Well, because like I said, it's already, it's already formed. It's already, I believe the nervous system is already forming. That baby's already moving around in there.
Who cares about a nervous system? Why does the nervous system matter?
Oh, it doesn't, but you can see the formation.
Right. Why does the formation matter?
Why? Because when they go in and do an abortion, I mean, from my understanding, they're like cutting and,
Why does
baby.
any of that matter?
What do you mean, why?
What? This is the point I'm getting at. Like, why does it matter? Because we kill cows, we kill pigs, we kill other things that are
Life.
and
Mhm.
have more than just a fetus title. Like, why does any of that matter to differentiate when you have an abortion or not?
That's just how I feel about it.
Right, but why?
I already told you that.
Because it's forming.
Yeah, it's already,
Do you eat meat?
Do we meet?
Do you eat meat?
Yeah, I eat meat.
But you don't care about those lives? Those are
Yes.
fully grown animals.
Okay, well, we need to survive somehow. We're not going to survive on vegetables. Well, at least I'm not. I need to have some chicken, fish,
All right,
Yeah,
and
it's just.
I know I'm trying to compare apples and oranges, but I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to understand, right?
Mhm.
Because the first trimester seems very arbitrary.
Mhm.
What doesn't seem arbitrary is conception, right?
Mhm.
Like pro-choice, pro-life, and when you're pro-life, it's life begins at conception. But when you're pro-choice, you got the heartbeat, you got first trimester, you got what would it be? 18 months is halfway through, something like that. 18 months.
Weeks.
18 weeks. Sorry. 18 weeks, or you got all the way to the third trimester, or you got all the way till it takes its first breath, or there's so many. There's no consensus on pro-choice,
Mhm.
but there is a consensus on pro-life. And that's where I'm confused, because if pro-choice was so the field goal keeps getting moved. Back in Clinton, when Clinton was president, it was safe, rare, and something else. Safe, rare, and I forget what he said. And now, over this past time, right before we had Biden elected, they were saying that you could have an abortion up to the baby having its first breath.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that, but
No.
you see where it's confusing when someone says they're pro-choice.
Yeah.
Is if you're pro-choice, the only choice should be made is take the morning after pill every time you have sex.
Yeah.
There should be no up to the first trimester, because what are you doing?
But then there's people that are pro-life that don't believe in the morning after.
Right. Yeah.
So,
But that would be at least a starting point, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem I feel with people having this debate is there's so many stages to define where you're allowed to have an abortion, where you're not allowed to have an abortion, and then come down to my body, my choice. It's yeah, it's your body, your choice. You chose to lay down, just like the man did.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm confused. What else do you have that we could talk about?
When we're only discussing this, I read actually in the States, there's Georgia, Ohio, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana that have banned all abortions after 6 weeks.
Right, the heartbeat pill.
So once past 6 weeks, you cannot have an abortion.
Right.
At all.
Right.
And there's still countries out there that ban abortion completely. It's not allowed. They got to go somewhere else to get it.
Right. So my question to you,
Mhm.
Roe versus Wade,
Mhm.
right? That's a hot topic in the media, and like especially when it comes to Republican, Democrat, whatever. Um, what happens if Roe versus Wade gets overturned?
I didn't read too much about it. I know if it does get overturned, there's some states that it'll basically be banned again, abortion in the states.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah, not all, but some.
So right now it's supposed to be separation of church and state, but like there is no such thing as separation of church and state because everything revolves around like beliefs. And what people think is like if Roe versus Wade gets overturned, like all abortion becomes illegal, and it doesn't. They're like, oh, they gotta go to
No.
back alley and all that stuff. Like California will always have abortion, New York will always have abortion, and so like I think we need to Okay, go back to Roe versus Wade. Why was Roe versus Wade decided by the? How was it decided that abortion was legal according to our Supreme Court?
How exactly? I don't know, but I know it's what was it, the 14th Amendment or something? It was just a privacy thing.
Right to privacy. So
Yeah.
they extended it, right?
Mhm.
Because there is nowhere in the Constitution and any of our amendments or anything it talks about abortion.
Mhm.
The only reason we're having this debate is because the damn Congress, the Senate, the House of Representatives are too damn scared to make laws.
Yeah.
Because the truth is like if you're pro-choice or pro-life, either way, if there was an actual law on the books, there'd be no way that we would be scared that Roe versus Wade would get overturned.
Mhm.
Like if we made an amendment, if we did certain things, and that's where like anything that the Supreme Court decides on that isn't really written into our Constitution or our laws, like there's always going to be a chance.
Mhm.
So let's go back to the lady that was part of Roe versus Wade. What did you tell me right before we came on?
Well, it said that at some point in her life she was against abortion, right?
She started out for abortion. That's
Yeah.
why she had an abortion.
Mm-hmm. And then at some point, years later, it said, that, whatever, she changed her mind. But then it also said when she was on her deathbed that she said she was, again, pro-choice, and it was because she got paid by the anti-abortionists.
Right. And so she got paid to have abortions, or she got paid for Roe versus Wade. And that's been documented. And then she got paid to come out against abortion. Then she got paid for the documentary to come out for pro-choice. And it's like, okay, like how many times are you gonna flip flop?
Yeah.
And that's where like I don't trust anybody that I don't even trust me with this argument because like I'm coming at it from a personal perspective, right? But I think that's also what gives me a different perspective, right? Because like most women will be like, oh, you're a man, you don't get a choice, like. Like it's my body, right? You don't get to have an opinion. Well, why not? Do you think I get to have an opinion?
I guess if it's a married couple, maybe. But I mean, who's to say you were you're gonna stay with this person? Who's to say you're not abusive? And so the woman making the choice is doing it, not just for her sake, but the child's sake when the child's born.
So what about going back to the other way, where the woman has an anchor baby? Anchor baby is wrong. I know anchor baby is not the right thing because that's what they use for undocumented or illegal or whatever. A baby to trap a man.
Yeah.
Like a man had no choice on whether.
Yeah, but sometimes the men don't get trapped just because they have a baby.
But they get trapped into child support.
Yeah.
But the man has no choice. And that goes back to like my original question. Like two people make a decision to lay down. But in your perspective, one person gets to decide the future of three people. The woman, the child, and the father. How is that? So going in like let me get to the point is if we're in this world where we want equality, do we want total equality or only equality when it suits what you want. Because if we want equality across the board,
Mm-hmm.
the man should have an equal say. If it's only equality when you choose what you want, not you, not her, right? But if we only want equality when it suits your purpose, then it's not true equality. It's arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we want equality across the board? And that's setting you up, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I get that question is setting you up. But do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do, but I still believe it's a woman's right. You know.
Where's the man's right? When does a man start to have rights in this?
I don't know. You know.
So we strip the man of all his rights.
You know, I guess you kind of, yeah.
And you think that's okay?
I just strongly believe it's a woman's right. I mean, I have
get
different opinions on it, you know, but yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to fault you or put you down or
Mhm.
anything. Like if you said yeah, like the man gets no rights, like just stand behind it. You know, like
Yeah.
I get it. Like I'm not growing something inside me for 9 months. Like I understand that the ache and all the well, I don't understand the hormones, but like I can conceptualize all the hormonal changes that a woman goes through, and then having to worry about if the man's going to stick around, if the man's going to help support. I do see that aspect of it.
Mhm.
What about all those good men out there that like now we've bastardized into all men are evil? Well, I don't know if men are gonna, if he's gonna stick around. Well, you made the freaking choice.
Yeah.
Like that was your choice. That was your choice to lay down with him.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about it, then why the hell did you lay down with him?
Well, sometimes we don't know people when we lay down with them.
Then you probably shouldn't be laying down with him. just what I'm saying. Like I know I made some bad choices, and we talked about that. But yeah, what else do you have that we can talk about? Cause I know this. She came prepared. She has like a whole iPad and notepad. So where else can we go? Cause like right now, just to break the third wall, cause it's not just between me and her. Is I'm not gonna change her mind. She's not gonna change my mind. But like what? It's about being. It's about understanding and not being understood. Like I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, and like I do understand where you're coming from. Just like I hope like you can understand where I'm coming from. Doesn't mean you have to agree with me.
Yeah.
But like I hope you can understand it, just like the audience, right? Like we hope the audience understands. So what else do we got?
Well, it's not what we agreed to talk about. It's like
That's okay.
other instances of why to have an abortion.
Okay, so we'll go into this, right? Because you said, what about someone that gets someone with Down syndrome pregnant?
Yeah. What if?
So who makes that choice? Because the pregnant woman now.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking the choice away from the pregnant woman, and you're taking the choice away from the father, and you're taking the choice away from the baby. So who decides who gets to make that choice?
So what I said was, what if it's a developmentally challenged person that gets raped, which could be someone with Down syndrome or something else.
Right.
Autistic, doesn't matter. Okay.
Well, how do you know they were raped?
Well, how do you know they weren't? What
Right.
if they were raped
Right.
and, you know, for whatever reason, they were raped?
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, they don't, most Down syndrome, you know, it could be any age, don't really understand, you know, certain things. I've worked with developmentally handicapped people. But as it is, I feel they don't understand what happened to them, you know. So how are they going to understand their body changing, a baby being born that will probably get taken away, you know? They may or may not necessarily be born with a handicap,
Right.
you know. But I mean, or let's say, not just developmentally, if you know, you can get your period as early as 9, that I know of, you know. So if a 10-year-old gets raped, you're saying that 10-year-old should be forced to have that child.
So this is where I go to. It's not pro-choice. I'm still pro-life. However, for me, there's exceptions when it comes to spiritual, mental, or physical harm to the person carrying the baby. And so I think that's where we agree. And I think that's even where a lot of religious people agree. Like if it causes spiritual, mental, or physical harm to the mother to carry to term, that's when the abortion is okay to have.
Not in all countries, though.
Not in all countries.
No, because I read about this in 2019 in Argentina. This 11-year-old that was raped by a 65-year-old that had taken her and her, I think, siblings, got custody of them. It was like the grandma's former partner.
Mm-hmm.
Raped her, got pregnant. She fought the courts. She begged. She said, please let me take out this thing that he put inside of me. And they did it. They ended up locking her up because she attempted suicide and all this stuff. And they locked her up and made her have a baby. Like 3 weeks before, they basically gave her a cesarean section and made her give birth.
See,
So, yeah. And she was 11,
And like this is getting into a whole other topic, right? Because like people want to say how bad America is right now, right? Like how we treat immigrants, how we do this, how we do that. But at the same time, they talk about how bad America is, but yet we want to force our moralities on other countries. Like who? Like that's Argentina's laws, right? Like who's to say our laws are correct?
Yeah.
We live in America, and that goes to everything, right? Because like I'm sure in Russia it's different, in Brazil it's different, in Mexico it's different, in Africa it's different. Like if our country's so bad, how dare we put our morals on other countries? And if our country's so great, then we need to stop putting down our country. And that's where and that's a different topic because that just disgustes me that someone that old got someone that young pregnant. However, there's arranged marriages like that.
Yeah, there is.
And like, who's to say that our morals are better than theirs?
Yeah.
And that's where like I'm confused on that story because like it could have been do we know the full context of that story, right? It could have been an arranged marriage. It could have been, and I know you said it was a grandfather or like someone, but like people lie.
Yeah.
Especially in the articles, right? Because that one article you found about Roe versus Wade, it says, oh, she was paid off for her testimony to be pro-life. However, it doesn't talk about how much she got paid during the Roe versus Wade time to have that opinion, right? And so all these articles that we read are framed to fit the narrative that we want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's where I hope with all these discussions people find out like listen for the framing. Because unless people are open, honest, and like me telling you like, hey, like someone took away my child, right? Like you wouldn't understand like why I'm like this. You'd just be like, oh, he's just another dude that thinks he could tell a woman what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, like just on what you told, like yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
However, I don't know the full story.
Yeah. I'll send you the article. I'll send you the article. But I mean, it's there's just different reasons. I don't believe it should be used as birth control, and I know there's people out there that'll get pregnant, have an abortion, like that is completely wrong. I get that. But then you have the instances like, okay, I'll give you, an example where I worked before in El Monte. I used to see this one girl all the time. She was homeless. She looked like she was just in another world off of drugs. Then I would see her walk around and she was pregnant. And I saw her through the whole thing. Then one day she wasn't. So apparently, I'm sure that baby was born a drug baby, went somewhere else. Didn't see her for about a year or so. Saw her again about 6 months ago. She looked okay, but I can tell she's pregnant again. So so people are just having these babies that are going to have these health issues and then when they come into the world, they're like, and as they're growing up, I mean, I saw something that showing like people that have babies that are forced after they've been raped, they end up abusing the children, because I even read there was this one family who made their daughter have the baby, and then now they're making her spend time with the baby, and she was like, let the father have him, let him take him. And no, and now they're making, so now she's saying she hates that baby like 1,000 times more.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, why do that?
No, and I get it. You know, like I have a family member that was adopted, and I have a history. So like my memory is a little skewed, so it might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But he was adopted, and like I think when he was in elementary school, he was put in handcuffs. And now like he's 27 now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's getting kicked out of homes. Like he still has to live with people.
Mm-hmm.
He was born on drugs.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't understand finances. He doesn't understand anything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and the dude's like 6'7", like 330 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can't really restrain him. Like
Yeah.
and then like these homes keep taking them in because they get $7,000 a month to take them in. Like $7,000 a month taking someone that could like kill you.
Yeah.
That's my family member, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could kill him. And there's a lot of things that happen in the childhood that I don't want to put out in public, but yeah, it's like I understand why some people would want to get an abortion. However, like I couldn't imagine killing something that had half my genetics.
Yeah, and I get that part.
That's where I come from. Like the whole rape and the incest, like that's less than 1%, and like so he, and this is the scary part, right? Or not even the scary part, but like if we make up a rule where abortion is illegal except in circumstances of rape and incest, people will say that people lie about being raped or incest happening, which like I can see. However, you make a rule and you deal with the exception later. You don't make the rule for the exception.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I come from. So like if you say people shouldn't use it for birth control, then like me and you are the same. There should be nothing about the first trimester. It's total pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if a woman's in an abusive relationship, then she's probably getting raped, and it's not probably consensual sex,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like once again, that goes under the rape and incest, right? So that takes out all those arguments. So technically, if me and you were like take out the rape and incest and abusive relationships,
Mm-hmm.
you're pretty much pro-life then.
No.
No?
No.
So you can use it for birth control.
No, not as birth control. Okay, let's say for instance, it's this young girl and she accidentally gets pregnant, but she doesn't want to have the baby or give it up for adoption because, you know, for whatever reason, it could be a 14-year-old. I mean, kids get pregnant at a really young age. I mean, she should be able to say, because then you have these weird families that'll be like, oh no, you're gonna keep the baby and we'll raise it as ours and it'll be your sister. Like, come on. It's happened, you know, which is really strange.
Yeah,
You know,
I know.
Yeah, and then years later, you know, this poor child finds out and is traumatized by the fact that his sister's really his mother, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's make it personal. What if your daughter got pregnant right now and had an abortion? Would you grieve losing your grandchild?
No, this is not my grandchild yet. And as long as it happened in the first trimester.
When does it become a grandchild?
Here we go.
Just asking a question.
Like I said, as long as it's in the first trimester, you know.
So when it's in the second trimester, it becomes your grandchild?
Pretty much, yeah.
Why? Just because you say it starts to create nerves, but it doesn't know you,
No.
so it's not going to grieve you.
No, but that's just how I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
Well, under that same that case I told you about Argentina, they do have. I didn't really understand the article because it shows. I don't know if this was during, before, after, whatever. It shows that they have laws where you can have an abortion in instances of rape or when the mother is mentally disabled,
Mm-hmm.
or there's a serious risk to health.
Mhm.
but yet they didn't let this 11-year-old have an abortion. You know what I mean?
Which goes back to there might be more to the story.
Yeah, but it does show that if you do have an abortion, and I guess they find out, you have to serve like 4 years in prison. You know, and so then again, we're punishing the mom again.
But it's okay for the mom to punish the father.
I think you need to take the personal issue out. Yeah.
So you say I need to take the personal issue out, but it's personal to you because you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't take the personal out because.
Like, I don't know the circumstances, but I think if a woman or a young girl feels they, you know, can't have the baby for whatever reason, you know, and shouldn't go through with a 9-month pregnancy, then I believe they have a right to, you know, make that choice.
So what's an acceptable reason? Besides rape and incest or abusive relationship? And age. So over 18. Let's go over 18. What's an acceptable reason besides rape and rape? Or
could be the relationship they're in. They could be in a very, you know, toxic, abusive relationship. Already have kids that are going through trauma, and you don't want to put more kids through that. And I also believe at that point they should get their tubes tied, you know, either not have sex or do something. But then you got a lot of people out there that don't believe in birth control, where the men are like, no, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some religions, you know. So I forget where I was gonna go. What else we got? I had a thought, but I was listening.
I think that was pretty it. Just I don't know. I read somewhere Alabama bans all abortions. I'm not sure if that's Alabama was the only state that I read. I think it was from like 2019 that bans all abortions. Not sure how true that is, but yeah.
What's that one group that does abortions? What's it called? Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, Planned Parenthood. They don't just do abortions. They have, you know, they let girls go in. They don't have to have parental consent to get on birth control.
So what was the philosophy of the woman that started Planned Parenthood? Do you know that?
No.
Her philosophy?
No.
She wanted to extinguish all Negroes.
Oh God. I didn't know that.
And that was her term, Negroes, right? Not mine. But that was her reasoning for starting Planned Parenthood. Like it's on record, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then where are most of Planned Parenthoods put?
You're gonna tell me in black neighborhoods now?
In low income areas.
Yeah, I've seen some. I know there's one.
You're never gonna see one in Beverly Hills.
I've seen one in Rosemead, or Amwani, maybe. No, I don't think Beverly Hills. I've seen one in Monrovia. Actually, I yelled at the people because I didn't approve of the protesters holding signs with aborted fetuses. So I yelled back at them. I was like, pro-choice! I was mad, you know, because they were, you know.
Right, and so like the whole abortion, like if we want more Black Americans, like you understand, there's been over 20 million aborted fetuses in the Black community since Roe versus Wade. I think it's more than that. Right? So,
yeah, but they're not the only ones that have abortion.
No.
Yeah.
And I hate that argument, right? Because like it makes it sound like, oh, only the Black people have abortions. No, like my girlfriend in college was white. Like it, and like it just sucks that it's in low income neighborhoods, and I don't want to say colored communities because white people live in low income communities, you know. So I don't know. That's my take on that. But like I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life right now, and I say right now because like the truth is, if I had a daughter and something happened to her, like I don't know what I would do.
Exactly. Depends on the circumstances.
No, let me correct that. I didn't know what I would do. I would love her no matter what she decided.
Yeah.
And so I think pro-life and pro-choice need to be personal. And like I think we need to get rid of Roe versus Wade and let the states decide, because like you need to vote in your state. Like if you don't like the laws that are made in your state, like you could vote on your locality, you know. But to have it decided where my tax dollars have to pay for someone else's abortion, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I should never have to pay for someone else's medical issue.
Yeah.
So, what else? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
I think we had a pretty good discussion. So, don't hate either one of us. But if you're pro-life, you know what? Comment. I don't care. Because like, at least that shows that you comment. You know. But yeah. Please like, subscribe, and share this with anybody. And hopefully we get another heated one or a better heated one next time.